A stakeholder is not the same as a customer. A customer is a stakeholder, but there are other stakeholders as well. Investors, partners, mentors, right? Ground workers. And anybody who's in any way affected by the problem that you're talking about, by a solution, है ना, कोई भी connection हो अगर कोई इंसान का तो वो stakeholder है. Now, with the problem statement that you have, try and think of what stakeholders could possibly be there for that problem statement. Like you guys are talking about education, right? So there are teachers, there are parents, there are school administration, there are school children, stuff like that. So any stakeholder category that you can think of who has anything to do at all with your problem statement, write it down on maybe a sticky note and make them headings of new verticals that you're going to make. When you do a stakeholder mapping, the point is to identify both primary players in the system as well as fringe players in the system. Fringe players are players who are in the system, but they have nothing really like very directly to do with your project or idea, but they are there in the system, right? You could possibly leverage their presence. You can design solution which includes them, which can be more efficient. So I'll give you an example. There was this device, right? It was featured on Time magazine's Invention of the Year, है ना? तो वो एक baby incubator था. Baby incubator पता है क्या होता है? Right? So infant mortality rate ना बहुत high है, right? And African countries में mortality rate high मतलब a lot of babies die, है ना, when they're born or just after they're born, right? So mortality rates are very high. So design thinkers that really designed this baby incubator. है ना, but they didn't just design any incubator. नहीं तो क्यों फालतू में वो लोग टाइम मैगजीन का इन्वेंशन ऑफ द ईयर में होता है ना. So they designed a baby incubator specifically for that African community, right? In this case, Mozambique, है ना. So what was so special about this baby incubator? Like, why would you feature it on? Why would Time magazine pick it up as an invention of the year? When you think of a baby incubator, right? It's a biomedical project, है ना? It's a biomedical project. That's your domain, biomedicine. So what do you think are possible stakeholders for a baby incubator? Doctors, mother, anything else? Governments, yeah. Hospital agencies like hospital administration. Pharmacy companies, fair enough. NGOs. Most hospitals in Mozambique, first of all, there aren't many hospitals, right? A banyan tree counts for a hospital in a lot of places. A doctor comes once a week, does a diagnosis and sends, and you then have to go and visit the county hospital, which is like very far. है ना? So, and in most hospitals, power shortages होता है. Right? So that also causes a lot of infant deaths. है ना? So here's the thing, when you do a stakeholder mapping, like really go down to the roots, really understand the system as a whole, right? The solution that they designed is, it was a portable baby incubator, of course, right? Because it has to be taken outside the hospital as well. It needs to be available in a village, है ना? But making a baby incubator is not it. Like that is what I was asking you guys. How are you going to maintain your product? How are you going to make sure that there is servicing of that product? Like who's going to take care of it? What if it breaks down? Who are you going to train to use it? वो सब कौन देखेगा? So they realized that in that system there is another stakeholder, car mechanics, right? And bike mechanics. क्यों? Because most of the community वहाँ पे सबसे prominent काम सबका mechanic का ही है, गाड़ी या bike का mechanic. Doctor से ज़्यादा mechanic है वहाँ पे. So you know what they did? They made the baby incubator out of car parts. So that if it breaks down, you don't need a biomedical engineer. A car mechanic can fix it for you. है ना? So you realize how much that brings down cost. You now make one thing, give it to a community, and they know how to handle it. You don't have to then provide after-sales service of going, running and fixing it for them. They can do it on their own. And think about how the community is going to then adapt your solution. Right? Because it's theirs. You understand what the community needs, and that only happens when you dive deep into a stakeholder mapping. That is how you can come up with solutions like that. Good stuff, right? So which is why we are doing a stakeholder mapping right now. So take the next 5 minutes, look at the sticky notes of the sub-problems that you have and try and classify them according to the stakeholders that you made. So there will be new verticals now, but they will be according to stakeholders. If you want to add new stakeholders after this example, giving you ideas, you are free to do that. Right? As design thinkers, we have absolutely no constraints. Yeah, it's like imagine setting up a school for a group of say 1,000 people on an island who've never been to school. What would you do then? You have no, like there is no precedent for you. Setting up a new school completely from scratch for somebody who has never heard of what a school looks like before. That's how you need to think. Yeah, don't try and tweak an existing system, because the same uncle that we were talking about in the morning, right? If you had an hour to solve a problem, you would spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes solving it. Einstein uncle, he said that, right? So the same uncle, he also mentioned that problems cannot be solved with the same mindset that created them. So when we try and do this, right, we try and think of an existing system and we try and think of ways of tweaking the system to make it work according to our needs. Yeah, but as design thinkers, you have to think of creating a brand new system, something that has not existed ever before in your lives. Agriculture has not happened on planet Earth ever. What are you going to do now? How are you going to set it up? No complaints. You have nobody to complain about. And then we try and fit it into the current system and see how we can implement that there. But what we're going to do now is define. So this is the last part of the first diamond, that in the double diamond diagram, right? We did a discover phase first, where we came up with as many, quantity was king there. We came up with as many possible units, sub-problems for our domain. And now we're going to define it, right? So we've started making patterns. We've started making a cause-effect relation between them. We've started looking at the entire thing as a system. And now we're going to define our problem, right? Define it specifically. And the problem that you define is the one that we're going to be looking at in the next 3 sessions.